Alright, so today I want to show off the text rendering and actually the word wrap and word align. And it's a little bit hard to tell from the video what's going on, so I thought I'd give a narration. Okay, so if we zoom in, you can actually see that we're now rendering text, and this is kind of difficult in WebGL because the primitives that you have in WebGL are points, lines, and triangles. And pretty much everything else is up to you. And I had originally gone down the path of trying to generate some geometry on the GPU and use shaders after extracting the geometry actually from the font files. And that was a pretty difficult task. And part of the big problem with that is you're essentially creating your own font rendering engine, and there's no way that's ever going to match up to any of the browsers. So a better option that we ended up coming up with, and which has kind of been documented on the web, is to actually render using the 2D canvas APIs, and then simply taking the texture, or taking the result of that, and then using that as a texture on the GPU. So this is what we have here, where we're able to actually use the built-in font rendering engine of the browser that we're running on. We specify pretty much all of the font properties just like you would in CSS, other than underline, and then we render to a 2D canvas. And so here we're setting the color and the font and the size. We could change those and it would be reflected. The difficult part of going down this route is that that's all you get. You can blit a couple of pixels to a texture and then you're on your own. So it's up to us to do things like text alignment and word wrap. So this example here is actually showing our implementation of word wrap and what it looks like. So as it's continually resizing the word wrap boundary for this, we can see actually how the words are collapsing down. For those of you familiar with, for example, Photoshop's text wrapping, where it gives you the option to insert a hyphen, that could be just as easy to do in this case. And so while I was developing, I actually added up a couple of buttons up here just for the tests that control the font alignment. So you can see I can click, I can center the text, and again this was up to us to implement. And the way you do this is simply by, after doing the word wrap, you iterate over each line and figure out which one is the longest, and then you use that as a way of figuring out how to center all the lines. And then of course right align works. Now this isn't quite the right behavior because the word wrap should actually be happening from the left hand side. Actually, so what's basically happening here is that it's creating a smaller text rendering area from the right hand side, but this will be fixed a little bit later. And just like any of the other layers here, we can move them around and align them. And if we had the controls enabled, we could scale them out and change them there as well. So that's today's feature with a little bit of an explanation. I hope you like it.